I feel like that my soul is not at rest. I feel like my soul wants to escape my body, but it can't. And I have this sinking feeling in me. And this went on for a long time until when I could define what was happening to me. I come from a very nuclear family. It's just my parents and I have a younger brother. In my early childhood, I must have switched around 7 to 8 schools. So, I think I never had the concept of, how a lot of my classmates, they would know all their classmates, they become friends for a long time and things like that. I never had that, I think, until maybe, when I finally settled, after my 7th grade is where, we actually settled, and that's where I continued my schooling throughout until my 12th grade. So that is where, I actually developed group of friends. But prior to that, I would make friends and within a year or two, I would move again and I would just lose contact with them. I think till class 5, I was a very extroverted person. A person with whom I cannot relate now. I've changed a lot since. I've become very introverted. And I sort of remember when that happened. I think it was somewhere, between the transition of class 5 and class 6, where, class 6 was a very transitional time for me because I was still that extroverted person, but then some life-changing experiences had happened to me because my dad had fallen really sick, and we kind of didn't know if he was going to make it. It was a very strange experience because I think when my parents looked at me, they didn't realize how much I had changed from the inside, but I knew that because somewhere I felt that I have to take responsibility. 2010 was when I actually, faced my first bout of depression, and at that time I had no idea what I was going through, absolutely no clue. It kind of affected the way, I navigated college and later on university also. It sort of formed this deep-seated anxiety in me, which I did not know until I started working. You're seeing your peers, doing few tasks so effortlessly, and I couldn't do that. So I had to compensate that by staying up late at night, burning the midnight oil, which I thought I would stop doing after college and university. I was like, okay, now I'm a working person. There has to be some perks in here. But no, I was back to that same routine where, I'm still trying to compensate, as if I lack something. I could feel that, I was burning out, but I still didn't know, what burning out was also. I would feel tired and, I knew that I had to make some adjustment, and I didn't know what was that. I had sort of developed an alcohol dependency during that time. Parallelly, I had just started dating, so which is a very tough world to navigate in today's scenario. I did tell my then partner that, I have anxiety. I haven't really gone on to seek professional help, but this is something that I need you to know. But I think most people, if they don't experience it, they don't know what you're talking about. That was my prompt, that if I keep doing this, I might ruin this relationship which is going really well. I couldn't get up from bed. I just couldn't. I would cry to my parents, I would cry to my partner. I kind of quit eating. I'd lost my appetite. I just, I would just get up, log in, just do bare minimum work, and most of the time I would be just sleeping. My partner also kind of, at that time, he sort of encouraged me that, if it's getting so difficult, maybe you should talk to somebody. And prior to that, I had sort of downloaded the Amaha app. At that time, it was known as Inner Hour. So I had sort of downloaded it, I think, early 2020 or something, where I could track my anxiety levels. So that app was always on my phone. So when the time came that, I realized that, okay, it's high time, I really need to talk to somebody. So yeah, that's when I sort of went back to the app and I went and I explored all the other options. That's when I kind of decided that, okay, let's see, who are all the therapists, whom can I reach out to. Mrunmay's profile was something that, felt like, okay, this is somebody I could relate to. This is somebody, who might be able to help me. So yeah, I kind of booked my first session that way. The first session was more of me talking and her listening, and like she really listened, which is something that I really value in anyone for that matter. Like, I need somebody to listen when I'm talking, and that's what she did for me during the first session. Like, she just let me talk, get all my feelings out, and obviously she would ask follow-up questions. And really after the first session, I felt really relieved. I was kind of looking forward to my next session, because I felt like, because so much of those emotions had built up in me, that, it felt really good to have a outlet of release, basically. Until I got into therapy, I kind of thought that, look, I have anxiety separately and I have depression separately. Only when I started therapy, my therapist was able to tell me that, you have a condition called dysthymia where, your anxiety and depression go hand in hand. You have these short bouts of, anxiety and depression, but it has this, because it happens so often, it feels like it's been going on for a long time. All my therapy sessions was just me crying for 50 minutes. And she realized that, I needed, added help. I was very resistant to the idea of going to a psychiatrist. I didn't want to be put on medications because I felt like I have lost my focus at work anyway now. What if, the medications mess me up further? I think I sat with it for a week and I realized that, if I don't seek extra help, I was just, kind of disappear into this sadness that I was going through. So that's when I kind of told my therapist that, okay, I'm ready to see a psychiatrist. She started off on a very low dose of, anti-anxiety medication. And then depending on, how I was responding to it, she would adjust my levels. Whenever I would speak to my therapist, she would ask me have you spoken to your psychiatrist, where are you with your medications? And similarly, when I would come see my psychiatrist, she would, suggest that, please keep up with your talk therapy sessions, because that is where, that is what is going to help you in the long term. Medication is here just as an added support. There was a time when I kind of felt that, therapy wasn't working for me at all, because nothing was changing in my life. Sometimes I would take a long break from therapy to see where I was at, but then I would realize that no, I still need it. It doesn't necessarily have to be, fix something that very second. It's just a tool for me to, make sure that, my feelings are not garbled. Basically, I have somebody to help me sieve through it. I'm very happy that I do go to therapy. Like I said, it's a form of self-care and a upkeep of my mental health. I do it just for that. It's okay for you to take that first step. Talk to friends who have gone to therapy maybe. Talk to a mental health professional. Maybe your first therapy session, it doesn't have to be, you talking about your feelings. Maybe you just gauge the idea of how therapy is. I was also one of those people who thought I would never need medications, but medications has been a huge life changer for me. I function so much better. It's okay to seek help. Both my therapist and my psychiatrist are very empathetic people. It's very easy for me to open up to them, which has been a very important thing for me. That is something that I look in people. Really, I didn't have to search for a lot of services. I've gotten it here. So yeah, so that was really it's a big sense of relief for me, that because mental health has been a big part of my life, and the fact that I have these people in my corner and we have this clinic here, there's this sense of relief in me basically.